No, that was for the little Gerald. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Board of Commissioner regular meeting, everyone here and at home. April 18th, 2024 at 7:04 p.m. Roll call, please, Ms. Jones.
Commissioner McDonald,
Present.
Commissioner Hall,
Present.
Commissioner Johnson, Vice Mayor Butler,
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Present. Item number 3, prayer and pledge. Vice Mayor Butler.
Lord, we're meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 4 is Mayor's comments. I want to thank Sergeant Hill for manning our metal detector to keep us safe tonight, and Officer Reed is here. Thank you for being here to, watch over us. So, also, I still have some citizens that watch from home who are having trouble hearing. So, like our people down at the tables, if you would, just make sure you're talking to your mics, and then everyone up here, the commissioners and Vice Mayor and myself will make sure that we're right up to the mic so that they can hear really well and know what is being said. With that being said, like I said, thank you everyone for being here, and we'll get started with our meeting. Item number 5 is approval of the agenda.
To approve.
Ms. Jones?
Vice Mayor Butler,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson. Aye. Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 5 is approved 5-0. Item number 6, citizens' comments.
There are none tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 7 is public announcements, awards, and recognition. A is city events.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. Next event is May 11th, the Arts and Crafts Fair. It's at Bowie Park. If anyone has any questions, please contact Richard Ross at City Hall. And there's supposed to be something on the next slide, but I'm not sure. Oh yes, we have summer camps starting up in the park. So you can get information. Just call down the park or go on the website, and there's information for summer camps. Thank you.
Item 7B is, first we're going to do the Arbor Day proclamation, and then right after that we're going to do the Tree City presentation. So I will read the Arbor Day proclamation. City of Fairview Proclamation, Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas Dr. Evangeline Bowie, used land management techniques, including planting over 500,000 trees that transformed barren and eroded land into a park treasure gifted to the city that now includes over 700 acres of forest, lakes, and 17 miles of trails. And whereas the city of Fairview is located on the western Highland Rim and within a diverse and unique hardwood forest, and whereas the redbud tree has been designated the official city tree, and whereas the city of Fairview was designated as a tree city in 2019, and whereas trees save stormwater retention cost, save energy, appeal to shoppers, slow traffic, provide health benefits, mitigate noise, provide wildlife habitat, clean and cool the air, attract people and industry, increase home values, increase pavement life, reduce crime, increase office worker productivity, are beautiful, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Fairview, Tennessee, does hereby proclaim April 26, 2024 as Arbor Day in the city of Fairview, to be observed annually on this last Friday in April going forward, and urges the citizens to plant trees and protect our woodlands to promote the well-being of this and future generations. In witness whereof I hereunto set to my hand and cause the great seal of the city of Fairview to be affixed this 18th day of April 2024, Mayor Lisa Anderson. Okay, now we will have the presentation from Elmer Mobley and David Dodaro for Tree City. And Ms. Tiroli. And I would like to get a picture after, would y'all like to say something at the mic loudly?
Be the seventh year. David Dodaro, 7551 Cherokee Hills Road, Fairview, Tennessee. Co-chairman of the Parks Landscape Board Committee. So this is going to be the sixth full year. We're working on year 7 that the city is being honored by the Tree City USA Arbor Day Foundation. We've got I believe the new numbers are put on some of the city signs. We're going to try to get a third one at the city limits. And then with some work that's potentially going to be done tonight by the BOC, this will help preserve not only Bowie Nature Park, but some of our city properties and help keep the city green. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we'll probably stand up back here so that we can display the flag. And if somebody would move the podium, please. And Rachel, here's the camera. City camera. Not city device being used, but city camera. Do you want to join in?
Go make a boy girl, boy girl.
Perfect.
Suck it in.
Thank you. Item 8, staff comments and monthly reports. A, Community Service Report. Mr. Greer?
Good evening, Board. Leaf pickup has ended for this year, and we have began the chipping service. You'll see Todd and the Public Works crew out and about often. They've also have been out repairing some roads, replacing some signs. The Planning and Codes Department issued 8 residential building permits in the month of March. That brings our 2024 residential building permits through the end of March to 51. In March, we completed 176 building inspections. Our department is evaluating 9 application submittals for the May 14th Planning Commission meeting. The urban growth boundary, there's a brief update on that. The Williamson County Coordinating Committee will reconvene to discuss the proposed growth plan for the county. We in Fairview adopted the growth plan. There were a couple other municipalities and the county all voted to not adopt that. So the Coordinating Committee will reconvene on April 30th at 3 p.m. at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park to discuss the changes that need to be made so that everyone can be happy to adopt it. And then we have talked several times about having a builder and developer summit. The date for that has been set for May 10th, 9 to noon. That will take place right here at City Hall. That will include myself and all of our staff and consultants there to go through all of our processes and changes and how things have changed since July when we all started. That completes my community services report. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board? Okay, I have one question. Not really a question, but, well, maybe it's a question. So I've kind of traveled through the city for various reasons, and I have seen, I just wanted to let everybody know, I have seen like trees that are down that are cut up in huge logs, especially on Chester Road, and they're taken to the ditch. I just want to encourage everyone before they do that to look at the specs on the city website of, the depth, height, width of the pile that they can leave and how big around the stumps can be. Because if you go to all that work and move it to the ditch, we can't always chip that size. So I encourage everyone to go to the website and check all the rules and regulations out before moving all of that to the ditch, and then it can't be done. So,
Mayor, I did think of one thing. Apologize. RFQ update. Are you going through interviews or final reviews?
We have narrowed down our finalists to our top 4 finalists. We have interviews tomorrow and Monday
Awesome. Good luck.
with those 4 finalists. So we are very close to picking a company to present to you all to enter into a contract with for the RFQ for the zoning ordinance.
Thank you.
anyone else? Okay. Item 8B, Police Department Report, Officer Reed.
Good evening. I hope you all are doing well. So for March, the training that we had drug-related investigations, criminal interviews for road patrol, firing range, basic police school, and basic yearly in-service. We are up to staff at 27. Our overtime is down to 8. And our training hours are down a little bit to 539 from 656. Next. For February, we had our calls for service were 944, and in March, 968, so we're up a little bit. Next. In February, we had 68 arrests. In March, we had 76. Our domestics stayed the same at 2. DUIs are down by 2. Drug charges in February were 17, and we're up to 20 in March. We had 0 thefts, which is nice to see. Citations are down to 102 from 153 in February. Traffic accidents, we were up 5 from last month, or from February. Property damage, 17 in February, 22 in March. Our injuries stayed the same and no fatalities, which is awesome. We have no public relations to mention, and we wanted to congratulate Officer Connor Brooks and Tiffany Fry. They graduated on March 28th from Toledo. Connor is on the left, he's standing there grinning, and then Tiffany on the right. That's all I have.
Thank you. Item 8C is Fire Department Report. Chief Hughes.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is the report for March 2024. We had 112 calls for service for the month, which is down a little bit from last year. We had a pretty high month of March last year, down a little bit this year. We had 12 overlapping incidents during the month. Again, that's when we're out on a call and we're dispatched to another call before we can clear that incident. We had 5 incidents where a fire was extinguished. 3 were grass fires, 1 was a passenger vehicle, and 1 grass fire in the county. We assisted in a ground search in Sumner County for the missing juvenile. We sent a crew of 3 and our UTV to search one Saturday with them. We searched all day. And then we had 7 mutual or automatic aid responses to surrounding jurisdictions. Our average response time is down with 5 minutes and 18 seconds from the time that call is dispatched till we're on scene, and then time operating on scene is up a little bit at 25 minutes, and that changes based on type of calls we have. The more serious the call, the longer we're on scene. So the more fires we have, and grass fires, car fires, we're going to be on scene for a little bit longer than just the normal medical call. To report an emergency, always dial 911 first. That's going to get your quickest response from us, because we're not answering the phone trying to figure out to tell you to call 911 so we can be dispatched, or we may not be at the station. So call 911, there's someone there 24/7. March call breakdown, again, it follows normally what we see, where we're 65 to 70% medical calls, and then we have the fire calls and other service calls. Those are the pictures of the crews that went up to Hendersonville area to search for the missing juvenile. Our heat map, again, it's going to continue to look similar. Those red areas are just going to continue to get bigger. Those are usually around the more populated areas, again, at the interstate, the main corridor here through town, and then some areas that have higher populations. Next slide. On the fire prevention activities, again, that's our fire marshal. He did 20 fire and life safety occupancy inspections and follow-ups. Again, nothing but minor corrective actions. Notices were issued. He did 3 pre-fire plans, were completed on businesses that are currently in town. We had 1 public education event at Fairview Elementary School. He was out there for most of the day talking with the kids and about fire safety. He installed 3 smoke alarms were installed within the city at 3 locations. And then he did 4 plan reviews as to go along with the planning through IDT. If any city residents need smoke detectors installed in their homes, just call the station, or you can go online and fill out a form, and it goes straight to the fire marshal, and he'll set up a time for one of our staff to come out or himself to come out and install those fire alarms. smoke detectors, I'm sorry. March training, we had 453 hours. Second to last week of March was a live burn week for us, so all the crews ran through our training tower. We did live fire scenarios. We did, I think it was engine operations. And then I think in 2 weeks, we have live fire search scenarios coming up. So this is our training facility, and we're getting a lot of use out of it. That's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
I noticed an uptick on the heat map near the Old Nashville Road area. Is that due to the assisted living facility?
Not actually. That's a little further down.
Okay.
I think those are more in the Fernville Springs area, the condos that you have there. You have some more concentrated people, so we get a little more calls there. So we have some, any, medical calls that go out are going to be right in that area a lot of times. Sometimes in an older population, you see the one that looks like it's right there on 96 and kind of right in the middle. So that's going to be at the Maple Village area right there. So.
Okay.
And then down here in the middle, we've got the apartment complexes and stuff like that. They're just outside of Bowie Park and things like that. We had 2 searches in the park this month. We had some people get lost on the perimeter trail, got dark before they could get out. So those are some of those calls that look like they're right on Bowie Park.
Anyone have any questions for Chief Hughes? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 8D, Finance Report, Mr. Darty.
Thank you, Board. First report is your Board of Commissioners monthly budget for March. Everything looks good. Any questions on that, just feel free to reach out to me. The next report is a summary financial statement for March, which gives revenue in detail and expenditures in summary form. Any questions, like I said, feel free to reach out. Last page is the account balances as of March 31st, 2024, and we're about where we wanted to be. A lot of things that we're hoping to really start knocking down the ARPA account and the bond account, but it seems like it takes longer to go through all the engineering and all the processes before a lot of the actual big heavy expenditures start. So we're excited about getting some of those projects finished. But any questions on finances?
Okay. Item 8E, City Manager Report.
Thank you again, Board. I guess the first order of business is want to wish Commissioner Stuart Johnson a happy birthday. And I also had a congratulations to our Finance Director, Ben Knox, who's completed his Certified Municipal Finance Officer certification. I also want to welcome 5 new employees. We have a firefighter, and I hope I pronounced this correctly. I think it's a Cajun name, but it's Adam De La Brue. Also have firefighter Chloe Wilson. We have police officer Micah Fan and police officer Colton Stewart. And we have economic and community development officer Ms. Patty Carroll. Let's see. Also wanted to bring up, we just got back the second revision of the Fairview Code, and you're going to be getting an email from our recorder, Ms. Rachel Jones, with details and instructions. But we're going to send it to you guys. It's about over 250-page document. And give you a month to review, and any changes will come together and talk about that. And then we've got one more rewrite we can send back to MTAS. But we've gone through it twice. Third time hopefully is the charm. And then but you'll get an email and any questions, just reach out to Rachel on that. And I guess the last thing, and I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to ask for a work session for May 9th for the budget. Looks like we've got work sessions before every meeting between now and then, and that's off the regular meeting time. But I think we've got TDOT coming in, and then we've got a beer board meeting. But the first read of the budget we have scheduled for May 16th. I'd like to get get it emailed out to everybody on the board by May 3rd, and then I'll let you have about a week to look over it. And then I'd like to schedule a work session for May 9th and hash anything out, and then have the first read on May 16th. If that's okay, I thought maybe 6 to 7 or 6 to 8 that Thursday. I know ball games and everything are going on right now. We could possibly move it to Tuesday, but I mean, I don't know how everybody's calendars work, but I can follow up with an email. But I did want to get that out tonight because I'd really planned on doing it before a meeting.
I hate to be the one, but I have school play that night.
Okay. Well, we can look at the 7th if that works. Or Friday usually doesn't work very well for anybody, and Monday might be a little short. I kind of wanted to give us a little time before, and of course the Tuesday before there's a planning meeting. I'm fine during the day.
I'm fine anytime.
There's, yep.
Yes, I'll shoot out an email, and if y'all want me to do AM or PM or whatever works.
Either one, yep.
Good morning. Okay, I'll shoot out an email for 9 o'clock that day, and if anybody has a conflict, we can adjust
On the 9th.
on the night.
Shoot for 9 a.m. on the 9th.
Yes, and I'm doing that without looking at my calendar.
Yeah, you may want to, if it's a Thursday, you'll want to check if there's court.
Yeah, well, I don't think there is, but let me just double check, make sure court's not going on. But we could probably still figure. And we're going to have this as a advertised meeting. So, yeah, let me make sure we got space during the day. But I think that should work out. I'll shoot out an email tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the new employees, Adam De La Bru, Chloe Wilson,
Micah Fan, police officer, and Colton Stewart, police officer. And you spell the first one Delabuere.
well, I just spelled it so
Okay.
that I could
Okay.
phonetically pronounce it. Micah Fan and, I'm sorry, the one.
Colton Stewart.
Okay. Let's see. So we have work sessions, just to recap, work sessions on, the work session on the 2nd is, did you say beer board?
Help me, Rachel.
Yeah, TDOT.
Okay, when is the beer board one?
That next meeting in May, I think it's the 16th.
Oh, that's the first reading of the budget, but the work session's going to be on the beer board. Or we have
Well,
a,
it's a
sorry,
beer-
we have
it's a beer board meeting.
Sorry, we have a beer board meeting, but we're going to hear the first reading of the budget that night. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Is that all? Everything? Okay, anybody have any questions about any of that? Okay. Item number 9, consent agenda, minutes from April 4th, 2024, Board of Commissioner regular meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson, Vice Mayor Butler,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item number 9 passes 5-0. Item number 10, old business. 10A, second and final reading, ordinance 2024-06, an ordinance to amend the Fairview zoning ordinance, Article 6, residential district regulations, Section 6-104, proposes an intent of AR agricultural residential districts in order to add the animal care and veterinary services to 6-104.1 in parentheses 2, uses permitted with supplemental provisions in parentheses SUP. City Planner, Mr. Greer.
This amendment allows for veterinary services to be done within agricultural zoning. Mr. Hall, Commissioner Hall, you asked in the last meeting about having ample room for trailers to be able to turn around. This would fall within AR 15, so a minimum land size of 15 acres. So we would, as Mr. Chastain presented to you, we would also be looking at a site plan prior to this, but it does have a minimum requirement of 15 acres for this as well.
15 acres instead of an acre.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I figured that would be helpful.
And then this is added to the agricultural zoning as uses permitted with supplemental provisions. There are several supplemental provisions that go along with this use, whether it be in the commercial area that it currently is or within the agricultural zoning. There are several supplemental provisions that are currently in place.
Second.
So you said it requires 15 acres to be approved for this?
This particular section 6104 is for AR 15A, which is agricultural zoning, minimum 15 acres of area.
If there were someone, or if there's been someone who's asked about this, do they have 15 acres?
The only agriculturally zoned properties currently within the county are all over 15 acres, or currently within the city are all over 15 acres.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson? Aye. Commissioner McDonald?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Butler?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye. Item 10A passes 5-0. Item 11, new business. A, Resolution 13-24, a resolution supporting the submission of an application for the FEMA Fire Prevention and Safety Grant Program, as well as support for the required matching funds from the City of Fairview. Fire Chief Hughes.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is a similar grant to the AFG. It's just another one of the federal grants that we applied for. The fire marshal has written a grant for some prevention and investigation tools. It's a small grant, but we still have to have a resolution from the Board of Commissioners to apply for it. I think the city's match on this is $164.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any questions of Chief Hughes?
Just to know, Mayor, thank you for staying on top of these grants and applying every time we can and saving us dollars where we can.
We do our best.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Commissioner McDonald?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Butler?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Thank
Item
you.
11A passes 5-0. Thank you. Item 11B, Resolution 14-24, a resolution of the City of Fairview Board of Commissioners to only allow city-issued electronic devices to be used during Municipal Planning Commission meetings. City Manager Tom Darty.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. This came as a recommendation from legal that, you know, the board already has this, and it would limit the liability of the city and also protect the commission if we go ahead and pass this requirement.
Yes.
Tom, I had spoke with you a little earlier about it, but if you don't mind just sharing the same information that we talked about as far as the cost goes for these devices and everything, just so that everyone's aware of what the price tag carries with those things. It's a pretty
Yes,
big deal the city gets.
Phones, we get a real good deal at 99 cents a piece. And then we get a deal if we put phone service on the iPads for 6 months. We get them $180 a piece. So about $1,267 startup, and then somewhere between $42 and $47 a month, and then 7 of those will drop off after 6 months for the iPads. So, but we'll still have to continue to pay for phone service and for the phones. But mainly, on the iPads, we just want to be able to have internet connection and be able to see their stuff. They don't need to talk on the phone from their iPads.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay. And I'd like to say we have IT here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I've had, some issues in the past with my iPad and emailing. So this is the way that our city staff gets in touch with us. So if you are having any issues, please see one of our IT specialists that are here Monday, Wednesday, or Friday to get them to help you either set up or get something corrected or passwords. Also, as Mr. Darty said, we've already passed a resolution for the Board of Commissioners. Now this includes both boards, Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners. This is a safety feature for us because if there were any litigation, you don't want your personal device to be confiscated. That way we can hand over our city devices if they need to be reviewed. So just, that's why it's really important for us to have city devices and not use our own personal devices. I do have a personal device up here only for pictures. I do not use it at all for anything, but if Rachel's going to take a picture, and I send it immediately to the newspaper so that we can document everything that happens in our community, because I think that's very important. Anything else from the board? Ms. Jones?
Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Butler,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 11B passes 5-0. Item 11C, Resolution 15-24, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between Wald Architects and Engineers and the City of Fairview, Tennessee. This would be Officer Reed on this one.
So the agreement that is referenced is a customary agreement that required some changes. I believe that it was sent to Patrick for some revision. Wold received that. They adjusted that agreement. They have since edited and submitted it back. So that agreement, that customary agreement, is what you would be approving tonight.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Butler,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Thank you. Item 11C passes 5-0. Item 11D, Resolution 16-24, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a sales proposal agreement between Atlantic Coast Fire Trucks, LLC, and the City of Fairview, Tennessee. Fire Chief Hughes.
Mayor, Commissioners, the sales order that is in front of you is for the purchase of a new engine. That engine has two, or would be the engine that would be at Station 32 once it is built. But right now, it replaces a 2007 Ferrara that is still in frontline service. NFPA 1901 suggests that fire engines be ran in frontline service for 15 years. This one is currently 17 years old right now. Their biggest reasoning for this is not that the truck doesn't work or doesn't function, but the safety features that come along within 15 years usually are have a big change. So that current engine doesn't have like airbags and rollover protection like the newer apparatus do. Right now in the fire service, we're seeing things that just aren't normal and have become normal, but the last engine we built was in 2018. We received that engine in about 11 months from the day that we signed the sales contract. Right now, trucks are taking, this sales contract is for 800 days to build this engine. Some manufacturers are over 3 years to take delivery. So this just gets us in line. There's also a new engine that Cummins has that is producing to meet the 2027 emission standards. It's phase 5 of the emission standards that started back in 2008. This hopefully locks us in for the I-9 engine that we currently get, this 450 horsepower Cummins engine. The new one, they are saying the cost could add up to about $100,000 to the cost of the engine. It's an X12 Cummins engine that's supposed to be the next grade of the emission standards that the feds have. So signing this doesn't mean we get an engine tomorrow. We'll receive it in about 800 days. I've talked with City Manager Daugherty. We have a plan. Currently, our plan is to pay cash for this engine, so we're not planning to finance it, but we have time. If we do decide to finance it, we would not have to really go out to look for financing until the quarter before it's completed. And if that's the case, it's something that's fairly easy to do. I don't think Tom has already been setting aside some money for the last few months since we first started realizing that it was going to take over 2 years to get an engine here.
May I ask a question of the chief, please? Chief, is there any, would there be any harm to deferring this for a month?
It could.
Because as I'm looking at it, provision 8 is an indemnification provision where the customer, which would be the city, is agreeing to indemnify ACFT. The Attorney General in Tennessee has been very clear that cities can't enter into indemnification provisions.
Okay.
And because it's the use of taxpayer monies. And so that provision either needs to be deleted or it needs to be restated to say to the extent legally possible in Tennessee, and then have that language. But it can't remain the way it currently is.
Okay. Can you send me what the language needs to be? I can send it back.
So what you could do is, if the board were inclined to amend it tonight or to try to approve it tonight, you could pass it with a couple additional words that the chief can then. And if that's acceptable to them, then we can go forward and you'd have it done tonight. If not, then we'd have to maybe see a revision in a month.
Yeah, the sales order kind of holds our spot and hopefully guarantees us the current engine that's in production and not the new one that carries a heftier price tag. I think this is similar. It's the same one I think we signed for the last engine because it's the same company. This went through the Sourcewell Cooperative, used to be the New Jersey Cooperative, which doesn't require us to go out to bid because they're guaranteeing this is the lowest bid on this type truck. And the reflection of the price is a $42,000 discount through Sourcewell that we get. But I understand your concern.
So if you're inclined, if someone wants to write this down, who will make the motion? But number 8, it needs to be revised to say, to the extent legally permissible.
So moved.
That language needs to be added to
Yeah,
number 8.
you'll have to state it.
Yeah.
Revise your motion to add that.
The motion will be to approve the sales proposal with the additional language of with number 8, beginning to the extent legally permissible, comma, and then the language would follow. That's the motion. Is that what you want your motion to be? That's
That is
the motion.
correct, yes, sir.
All right.
Second.
With the lead time of ambulances and fire trucks and so forth and so on, if we want to stay in line, get in line and see this happen before our new fire department is built, we need to be expeditious about it. So,
Yes, ma'am, and
Yes.
the plan is to take the current engine, it can move to reserve status, which we do not have a reserve engine right now. When our engines go down, they're out of service until they're repaired. It'll allow us to move it to a reserve service status, which we can keep it running at a reserve until it's 25 years old. We also get ISO credit points for having a reserve engine. We receive none currently because we don't have a reserve engine. So that's the plan, because it is a pre-emissions engine, so it doesn't have the DEF. Where I had Ben pull the numbers the other day, it's averaging us about $3,500 a year in maintenance and repairs, which is probably a third of what the newer emission trucks are costing us to keep on the road.
and the lower our ISO ratings, the lower our citizens' homeowners insurance
and
is. So we
businesses.
want to be aware of that. And Mr. Darty, I appreciate you always looking to make sure that we fund things properly and putting money aside. I appreciate that you've worked with Chief Hughes to make sure that this happens well. Any other questions?
Mayor, I'll just ask, so before we take possession, 800 days, I may not be here, but will we have discussion of finance, will we have more discussion of structure? I'm all about paying for cash, you want to make sure you're leveraging the dollar the best we can and being good stewards.
Yes, it would, of course, it would have to be in the budget. As you guys would have to allocate and appropriate it, and however we felt at the time, nothing's 100%, the economy can go wherever it goes, but if trends stay the way I think they will over the next 2 years, I think we would, cash is always better than debt. And I want to keep that buffer. As you know, I've been through quite a bit of financial good times with the city, and so I want to keep that buffer. And I think one of the main things is setting that aside, is you're pulling it out a little at a time, and you want to if you're sitting here and you have a big expenditure, $900,000 fire engine. Well, if all of a sudden that buffer drops, that everybody goes crazy. But if you pull it out a little bit of time, and then when you get ready to pay, well, here's the money, we just pay it. Granted, it can be spent on any general fund expenditure. It hadn't been appropriated yet, but that's kind of what we're setting it aside for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Johnson? Aye. Commissioner McDonald?
Aye.
Commissioner Hall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Butler?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye. Thank you.
Mayor.
Item 11E, First reading, ordinance 2024-07, an ordinance to amend Article 2, Section 103.4 of the Design Review Manual for the City of Fairview, Tennessee, and to repeal and replace in its entirety Title 13, Chapter 4, Tree Planting and Protection of the Municipal Code for the City of Fairview, Tennessee. Vice Mayor Butler.
Mayor, I don't have much. We essentially, we repealed, amended that Chapter 13, and then we also revised the Design Review Manual. And so it now clearly defines that the board is the keeper of the tree funds that would make the decisions. It also clearly defines the makeup of the Parks and Landscape Board. And then the Design Review Manual currently speaks to public property where the tree bank funds could be spent. So I think in the future, we will have a more further discussion about tree bank funds, but now we are now allowed to spend them freely without confusion. And it also clarified Parks and Landscape Board as being our role for that tree language, if that makes sense.
Move to approve, but Mayor, I would like to ask a question before the vote.
Sure. Yes.
Ready?
Yes, Mr. Hall. Commissioner Hall.
Mr. Carter, you may have to answer this. What I'm asking, with this being a restricted fund, we've since moved on from the city manager's authority to go up to 25,000. Will he still have that authority to spend the money on this restricted fund?
Only if it was appropriated. I don't think he could discretionarily, on his own discretion, spend money from the tree.
Speak
Tom,
into the mic.
Perhaps you're the
Sorry.
proper person to speak on.
Yes, it would have to be in the budget, either the original budget or amended budget. No city funds can be spent unless they've been allocated where they're supposed to be spent and, appropriated by this board.
Okay, that's what I needed to know, so, thank you.
Anyone else?
Just a random note, you mentioned earlier the code rewrite. I don't know how this functions or works, if that chapter's part of the code, how we're changing it right as we're changing it, if that makes sense, but
It will be added.
Okay,
This
okay.
will be
Thank
added.
you. Complicated as much as we can.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner McDonald,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Butler,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson.
Aye. Item 11E passes 5-0.
Mayor, just one note. At the second reading, I think we will also need to add creating the members of the Parks and Landscape Board. So it talks about starting it and then the services. So we'll just have to re-vote and to appoint to fill those roles.
We just need, Rachel will need to make sure that's on the agenda as a separate item after the second reading.
Yeah, and do you also want us to post out applications and accept new applications, or do you want only to accept people that's already on the board?
My vision is we're just taking what we have and transferring. I don't know, as long as our attorney says that's okay.
I think that's fine if that's the will of the board.
Okay.
Right, we good? Okay, item 12 is roundtable, mayor and commissioners. Commissioner Hall?
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I want to thank all the employees. They do such a great job for us, and tonight I've been naming the employees in each division. Tonight I've got the administration side and also the court system. Tom Doherty, Rachel Jones, Richard Ross, Ben Knox, Sharon Hall, and Tricia Steele, which I understand Ms. Steele is a new employee that's going to probably split time between the court system and whatever administration needs her for. Then in the court system, of course, we have Judge Crutcher and Gina Mangrum. The next thing I have is
Her
the,
name's Cox now.
who?
Gina got married to Joey Cox, so she's Gina Cox now.
Congratulations. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. The next thing I want to say again about the Arbor Day and Earth Day celebration, which is April 27th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. This is also where the Friends have a plant swap. It usually starts at 9. It goes pretty quick, so you better need to get there if you want to be swapping the plants. There's free giveaways of 100 trees. I think Mr. Rowley said that you now have all the trees, right? Then there's also various other things past the crafts, and then also a tree scavenger hunt. This is all Saturday morning, April the 27th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. The next thing that I have personally, I would like to mention something about some signs, and I know we have plenty of them in the city, but we have no way of knowing where the Veterans Park is at. And I think everybody knows where History Village is, but I think that both of those parks need signs. To possibly the one at Veterans Park will be on 96, and then a directional sign down New Hope to the entrance to Veterans Park, which, by the way, has a new paved area there. It looks great. And I know that's going to be an area from now on that's going to be utilized quite frequently. There is 2 signs that's coming for the Bowie Park under the Land Trust that Keith has been so gracious to be talked about getting them. And I'd like to see one put at the entrance to Bowie Park right near the fire hall. The other one, there's 2, and the other one I'd like to see once we have a direction and a finishing product on the city center site. The other one be put at the entrance to the perimeter trail off of the city center site, where if a lot of the customers throughout all the places of business is supposed to be there, as well as the residents, they'll know where they can enter into the park and be able to enjoy our park. Mayor, that's all I have, and thank you for your patience.
No, you know how long I speak. You can speak as long as you want. Commissioner McDonald?
Thank you, Mayor. To add to Commissioner Hall's comments about signs, that was something too that I've noticed. The welcome to Fairview signs when you come into town are looking a little aged and a little sunburnt, and maybe if we're going to talk about signs around town, that could be thrown into the conversation. Maybe spruce those up a little bit so we can start off on the right foot as people come into our city. Let's see, I got a little bit of a list tonight. Sorry, my apologies for the time here. Thanks to the Parks Board for taking care of the Arbor Day and everything around the Tree City stuff. I know there's a lot of documentation and behind the scenes that you guys take care of, so we appreciate that. Special thanks to Mr. Doherty and Mr. Greer for just putting up with me this week. I feel like I reached out to you more than I've ever have, and I just appreciate you guys taking the time to speak with me. Happy birthday to Commissioner Johnson. Thank you to Commissioner Butler for tackling the tree code and taking care of that for us. That was relatively easy, I think, from what that could have been. So other than that, just everyone have a good week, and that's all from me.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to everyone that's wished me a happy birthday. And I would like to wish Vice Mayor Butler's 2-year-old daughter happy birthday today that we share today.
Ah,
Porter Collins.
Porter Collins, yes, sir. Yep.
Thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor Butler?
Thank you very much, and happy 25th birthday to Commissioner Johnson. Thank you to the Parks Board for Tree City Arbor Day. That's great. I know a lot of time went into continuing that Tree City status. Welcome to all the new employees. I'm going to let the mayor name them all for me. And also just a question about dispatch fees, if we made any ground on that.
That's in my long report that I'm about to give.
I will yield the floor to you then.
Okay. First and foremost, welcome to all of our new employees. Adam De La Bru, Chloe Wilson, Tricia Steele, Micah Fan, Colton Stewart, and Patty Carroll. We welcome you to our team. We have a great one, and I know that you will add greatness to our team. So we are excited to have you on board. People probably know by now, but I did want to put it out there that on Interstate 840, an excavator bucket hit the bridge. And I had a meeting with County Mayor Rogers Anderson this morning. That's one of the topics we spoke about. I just want to make everyone aware, if you are going to travel on 840, it's one lane and possibly not open at all. So I would check before traveling on 840. This is the bridge over right where you get off at exit 28 going to Spring Hill and Thompson Station. So that affects anybody taking that to go to Chattanooga, like me, moving my son back from college. So I guess I'll go back to my old route going through Franklin. So you want to check and just make sure, because he said part of his staff comes from the other side, and it took them over an hour and a half just to get through that area this morning. This is 90 days for the next 3 months is how long this is going to be going on. So just be aware before you get on 840. Happy birthday to Commissioner Johnson. Let's see. I just wanted to mention that our park staff is having a wildflower walk, 10 a.m. this Saturday, Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. Okay, let me start over because I don't want to confuse people. Our park staff tomorrow will be having a wildflower walk if you'd like to join in. The days have been beautiful. Now, it's rain or shine, so, if you don't mind getting wet if it's raining, it's still going to go on. And you'll meet at the Nature Center at 10 a.m. to join in on this event. Let's see. I would like to congratulate Officer Brooks and Officer Fry on their graduation. That is awesome. Now they can get going, and they've got that behind them, and we're excited that they've accomplished that. So congratulations to both of those officers. Congratulations to Ben Knox for being, getting his accreditation to be a CFMO now. That is, a 11 test process that he completed in how many months? 11 months. Okay, so he did one a month. Well, I was told that it takes about a year, so 11 months. And that, I know that those tests can be grueling, so I know he's excited to have that finished and completed, and congratulations to him. We are so excited. I know everybody can't miss all of the progress that's going on next door for our new city center. We've been asked about that for a couple years now. And as you see, it's underway. As I've said before, we're going to have a groundbreaking ceremony where we'll take the shovel and dig some dirt and have the whole community out there to celebrate this new city center. This is going to be an awesome addition to our community, and I think we're all really excited about that. Yesterday, I attended a GNRC meeting, which is the Greater Nashville Regional Council. I'm a voting member of that council, and there was a lot of good information for senior citizens at that meeting. I put out the message from Mayor Lisa Anderson on my Facebook page. And I'm going to have this document on my Facebook page, which gives a lot of good information for our seniors, and especially those dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia. I found out yesterday that there is a training which I would like to see our police officers go through, and possibly fire as well, first responders, how to deal with if you go to a call. It's just a totally different situation when it's somebody who's dealing with Alzheimer's, because they really sometimes don't know exactly what they're doing, but they can be aggressive when it's a progressive disease, and when it gets to the end, they can be very aggressive, and sometimes the police have to be called in that situation. But there is a wonderful training that's offered, and I think we ought to look into that for our officers so that they can, and also it's credit hours for our officers. So I'm going to give this to Chief Humphreys, this documentation, so maybe we can have this training here in Fairview. Also, they'll come here and do the training. And also, I'm going to put it on for our citizens. It's a little bit of knowledge, better knowledge of how to deal with family members who have Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay, so this morning I had a meeting with County Mayor Rogers Anderson. I want to thank him. We had a great meeting. We discussed the dispatch fees, 911 dispatch fees, that they were very pricey as they came into us this year. I really appreciate the meeting that we had and how hard he worked with his team. I am happy to say our fees will not change for fiscal year 24-25. Also, myself, City Manager Daugherty, Chief Hughes, County Mayor Rogers Anderson, and his staff will be reviewing the whole process and the documents, spreadsheets that Chief Humphreys put together. Probably Chief Hughes had a part in it too, for us to be able to show that there needs to be a better plan moving forward so that everything's equitable across the board. But I am happy to say that he worked hard for us to make sure that his team put in place no increase for next fiscal year. So that's exciting, and thank you to him. I'm really excited that summer camps are back. I used to be at the park, the nature center, when summer camps were going on a few years ago, and the kids love them. And if you haven't been to the nature center, we have all kinds of reptiles and, fun things to learn about Dr. Bowie and her generous gift of our, Bowie Nature Park. So I'm excited that I want to thank all of the, park staff for working so hard to get these camps organized. So that's something that we look forward to for our children. As I always say, please keep Fairview beautiful, and let's help pick up trash and not throw it out. I entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Thank you all for being here.